need. It's getting harder to hide. It's getting harder to breathe. We at the end of the road. Most of them falling asleep. I seen a lot of them come. I'm watching all of them leave. I do not know what you like, but I know what you need. It's getting harder to hide. It's getting harder to breathe. We at the end of the road. Most of them falling asleep. I seen a lot of them come. They gon' watch all of us leave.
Yeah, this is the season finale. We dipping like valleys. Who keepin' tally? Cause we keepin' busy and we in the middle of building like alleys. That got me smiley cause I'm with the body and we bout to flex like Pilates. We the new Illuminati and we the tsunamis. Euro, Evo, and Mali. The Gad and F-Tally. The flow is a homie and I don't do churches. The service too spotty. They need an antenna. I'm no Pavarotti. The soldiers is folding. Bro origami, forsaking the fly. Lamasa Baktani and I do not know what you like,
but I know what you need. I seen a lot of them come. I'm watching all of them.
Think goodbye. Many are called that didn't survive. Judas embodied but different disguise. We got that water, we slip and we slide. Men of the Lord, prophets of God. Who about to stand in this fire? Somebody hand me the lighter. Who wanna rule this empire? Mind of a prince, line of defense. Line upon line upon line, I don't play. We march in unison, not a parade. We put the power of God on display. How long we been in this fight? To this day. Roaming like decibels, extraterrestrial, spirit celestial, biblical messages. 12 and the rest of us ain't here to rescue you. This is the exit, just roll up the credits, get ready, cause
I do not know what you like, but I know what you need. It's getting harder to hide. It's getting harder to breathe. We at the end of the road. Most of them falling asleep. I seen a lot of them come. I'm watching all of them leave. I do not know what you like, but I know what you need. It's getting harder to hide. It's getting harder to breathe. We at the end of the road. Most of them falling asleep. I seen a lot of them come. They gon' watch all of us leave.
Yeah. The weather changes, brew season. Opened up my soul every time I get new reasons. Not to backtrack, nah, I just keep reaching. Can't run from fate, man, them haters gon' keep speaking. I keep leaking life to the dead, they hate life. Drugs in their blood, they touch blood, they take life. Nowadays they take anything but take light. They playing with their life till it's beat, not a play fight. Flatline, I'm trying to stay girded, I clap mine. Look at the militia, competition is nap time. I be in my lane, I stay in it to pass time. Seeing how my forefathers did it in past time. A-list, whole nation lit, we famous. Dog, all they ever try to do is contain us. Word, so all of them gang containers mean yokes. I'll be cracking that whip like a goat, that means strokes. Not in my prime yet, I'm still learning the ropes. See my folks in broad day, still roaming and grope. Addicted to the sin, got them hitting the roach. That's why it's bass in my voice when I'm reading the ghosts. You know, bringing it out. You know that Bible like a banger, we be ringing it out. Trying to wake up, shake up, that's the final mission, being vigilant. The love of that book significant. I'm trying to take and shake up and wake up. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. I'm trying to take and shake up and wake up. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay.
As I sit back, reflect, I put things in a retrospect. I elected to accept the job to protect. No threats given lest we speaking to God's children. Proclaim, bit their bows, spit shells with no aim. Emancipated, slave to fashion, we been branded. Reprimanded, for transgressions, we short-handed. I understand it, I'm trying to escape, but who can I run to? No pun intended. Almost forgot to mention genocide on the people of God. Segregated and separated, they forced us to part ties and forced on apartheid. Recognize you a God, black man. Know we got ties with Most High. We know they spread lies. The bigger battle is fighting yourself. Pitching drugs, you feel ain't nobody reaching to help. We impoverished, most important, we lacking knowledge. Self-improvement, mental capacity, trying not to lose it. Face of confusion, slavery's no form of delusion. It's been proven. Think we free cause chains loosen. Thought patterns is foolish. He never went to school but got more debts than college students. And he chasing music. Gold chains and dreams of driving the range. All the drugs is where he hiding his pain. This world told him that he nothing, therefore chasing the fame is where he feel he'll maintain. This is the world of a black man.
I'm trying to take a shake up and wake up. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. I'm trying to take a shake up and wake up. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay. Trying to get my kin to wake up. Ay.
Listen here, I got some business to take care of. And while I'm gone, I don't want you niggas to try anything. Do you understand me?
Yes, master. Listen, I need your full undivided attention. Okay. I've been reading this Bible lately, and it feel like my spirit been bearing witness. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, something about it just feel a little different. This is Moses when he talks to the Israelites, but what he tell them, it feel like we lived it. Listen, cursed in the city, cursed in the field. Don't we all relate to that? Yup. He said they get their sons and their daughters took from them, and they won't have the power to go get them back. He even said they be serving the enemy, have to get everything they wanted from the enemy. And he will put that iron on their neck physically and keep it on them till they got destroyed mentally. Lord have mercy. The shoe fits. Prophecy is lining up with our history. Right. Moses said that the curses will serve as a sign so the Jews could remember their identity. Now I see why they don't like it when we read it right. Cause all the signs in the book point towards us. All we really gotta do is put 2 and 2 together. We'll see that the Bible really for us. Hold on. Master's approaching. He gon' see me as a threat if I ever get caught with a book laid open. He gon' see me as a threat. For so long we was rocked to sleep. Finally I've been awoken. He want us naked up with niggas. Don't want us to realize we really the chosen. We really the what? We the chosen. Is he gone? Yeah. Cool. Where was I at? Oh, Deuteronomy 28. And you ain't even hear the best part yet. Look at verse 68. He said the Israelites was going into slavery, put up on ships and get shipped away. Don't they kind of ring a bell for you? Ain't that how we got to the United States? And what we got here? What we sold? Yes. Men, women, young and the old? Yes. Did we ever get to see our homeland again? No. Matter of fact, what the hell is home? It's embarrassing. We were stripped from our heritage. Now we thinking we American. Getting ruled by somebody that we better than. They can never walk a mile in my melody. Now what you need to be asking me is why is this happening? How come we the greatest nation ever created, but they the ones getting treated like your majesty? Why? Well, the reason why we living like we living is cause we don't like to listen. The Most High made us to be the gods of the earth. Only thing we gotta do is stop sinning. Wait a minute. Master's approaching. He gon' see me as a threat if I ever get caught with a book laid open. He gon' see me as a threat. For so long we was rocked to sleep. Finally I've been awoken. He want us naked up with niggas. Don't want us to realize we really the chosen. Eyes can read, now masters. Master's approaching. He gon' see me as a threat if I ever get caught with a book laid open. He gon' see me as a threat. For so long we was rocked to sleep. Finally I've been awoken. He want us naked up with niggas. Don't want us to realize we really the chosen. We really the what? We the chosen.
Ready to live your rest life? At Casper, our dream team of
Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless you all. Welcome again to our show, The Bible, the book of our fathers. We're going to be continuing with the subject of do Black Lives Matter? Do Black Lives Matter really matter? Do Black Lives really matter? That's what the name of it. I wrote it down wrong on my notes here. Do Black Lives really matter? This is part 3. There's a subtitle that I'm going to go into in this particular episode. I'm gonna title it "Black Lives Matter" is basically act up. We'll find out what that is. 'Cause maybe a lot of y'all don't know about that term. It's basically act up under new management. Okay, under new management. So we're going to go into that thing. I'm Deacon Yawasop, your host, and to my right is
Shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. Captain Sariah here.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. Officer Eli.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. Officer Nashon.
Okay, all praise to the Most High. So we're going to get right into the topic. What I want to do is I'm going to show a series of videos because over the past weekend, what was it? Father's Day?
Yep.
That's what they had, so-called Father's Day.
Juneteenth, Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Look at everything going on.
Damn, all at once. All that craziness.
Yes, sir.
And there was gunfire everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Gunfire, brothers shooting at each other in Charlotte. That's right. Here in the local North Carolina, Charlotte. Over there on Beatty's Ford Road.
Yeah, one of our camp spots.
One of our camp spots. Shooting up each other. And also in Chicago, we had a lot of death that happened over the Father's Day. Ain't that something? Father's Day. You know, I find it ironic. How could Black Lives Matter, which we've been pointing out, is basically an LGBT movement that is against fathers. So how does that work?
Don't add
How can they
up.
be talking about Father's Day? And if they had their way, fathers will be extinct. So I don't get that. But we're going to talk about that because there's a lot of history behind this movement that you probably don't even really know. You just think it's a fly-by-night group that just popped up. But I'm going to go on a limb and say that Black Lives Matter, the forerunner to that group was called ACT UP. And like I said, a lot of y'all don't know much about ACT UP, but we're going to show you the transition from ACT UP to Black Lives Matter because they both had the same agenda. We're going to talk about that thing, and we're going to show how we got to where we are in this wicked society, and our thinking has been turned upside down. This was all a plan. Okay, so let's start it off. Let's deal with the issue at hand with the violence because the question is, do Black lives really matter? Well, let's see. Let's play our first clip, brothers.
Before we start off,
yes,
can we do
yeah. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Take care of that, Captain.
Yeah, before we start off, let's make sure we let the viewing audience know that Israel United in Christ, okay? We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, I repeat, non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness and any possible threat as stated in Leviticus 5:1, the King James Version Bible. All praises.
All praise to the Most High. Okay, so let's get right into our videos. All right, and let's look at some of the mayhem that has happened over the weekend, over the Father's Day weekend, and let's see if Black lives really mattered, and let's see who's speaking up against it. Let's see who's speaking up against the taking of our lives. I'm gonna put it that way. Let's see if there's any advocacy on the part of Black Lives Matter when it concerns you black men killing each other. Go ahead, let's play that thing.
Evidence from that conservative coalition is soon to disclose.
Let's get it together. Hold it. Let's get it together. Let's get it together, brothers. Okay, let's get it together. That's a lot going on here, so I can accept things going a little out of whack. We got a lot on the table here. All right, let's get on with it.
All right.
Got that ad on there.
Yeah, it sounds like another ad ran into it.
Okay, well let's get it out the way. Let's see what we can do. brothers and sisters, we got a lot of information here, so we're just trying to, we got a lot of things that just get in the way of what we're trying to do, but we're trying to do justice by bringing these things to you. So here we go. What in the world is going on with this thing?
I think the ad has to play first.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let the ad let it do whatever it's need to do. This is just taking up our time with this evilness. This is just ridiculous. Unbelievable. Ain't nobody vote for these clowns, man. Do you?
I'm telling you.
The hell with this. They just got to make you play their stupidity.
Right.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, let's get it. We got sound. Turn it up. Turn it up. Let's back it up. Let's get all the sound. Back it up. Let's get the whole thing.
Into the crowd. Evidence from that deadly shooting on Beatties Ford Road. This happened late last night. Officers say dozens of shots were fired into the crowd with hundreds of people. Here you can see people running away as this terrifying scene unfolded. In the last few hours, we learned a third victim has died. A dozen others are hurt. Earlier this afternoon, the community came together to turn the area where the shooting happened into a memorial space to honor the lives lost. Tonight, our Lana Harris joins us live with more on the victims and the push for peace today. Lana.
Good evening. Yeah, so investigators spent over 12 hours out here on Beatties Ford Road just sifting through that evidence. We're told that more than 100 rounds were fired on this street. And as you said, as a result, 3 people died because of it. So you've seen community members marching out here with the overall feeling that this violence has got to stop.
We've had a lot in the last couple of years, but this has to be the worst. The worst.
Mayor Vi Lyles says Sunday's shooting incident on Beatties Ford Road was horrific.
The loss of life is always horrific for me.
29-year-old Kelly Miller and 28-year-old Christopher Gleaton were both shot and killed in the chaos that descended during a block party.
Someone just decided to shoot several times into over 100 rounds into a crowd.
Deputy Chief Gerald Smith says the shooting started after an accident.
A female was struck by a car, hit and run. And as the ambulance rolled in, you can hear the shots ring out.
By the end of Sunday night, 7 more people were shot and 4 people were hit by cars while trying to run away.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that there are 3 right now who are fighting for their lives.
In fact, just before 4 o'clock on Monday, CMPD announced a third person, Jamal Cassell, died from his injuries. On Monday afternoon, community members marched down Beatties Ford Road with a message that the violence has got to stop.
This is a serious problem. There's crime all around, but we as a community got to deal with what's going on in our community.
And with 3 families who now have to bury loved ones, it was a message Mayor Lyles echoed.
How tragic is this? This is the heartbeat of the black community. This is our city, our neighborhood, our people.
Now, if you know anything
that's
that
good
can
enough
help
right there. So y'all got the point. As you see, this happened on this past Sunday night. Okay, matter of fact, we was in travel, coming back in town. Right. You know, and so here it is: 3 people, okay, killed. All right. I know one of them was a young lady, and I saw pictures of where they was actually literally laying out in the street. Okay. Another guy was right over on the
laying out in the street,
right,
shot up or dead or something.
Shot up, dead, and some of them even got hit, even probably after they got shot. But it was 11 injured also. So they was having a block party out there. See, they didn't mention that. It was a so-called block party they was having out there. And then all of a sudden, here's hundreds of rounds just shot into the crowd. You know, and I thought this, like you said, supposed to be Father's Day, huh?
Right. You know, go ahead, Eli.
Well, they marched, Black Lives Matter marched through there a couple of weeks ago. And what did they do? That same area, they looted when we went over there to hand out flyers, right. The food line there, busted the windows out of the food line. Wow. Some of the stores they busted the windows out of. And Black Lives Matter marched through there maybe a couple of weeks ago. And look at that. They ain't marching there now.
Right. They don't give a damn about that.
Right.
Let's get my next video. Let's get the next video. There's a question that I want to bring up. I'm going to see if it's going to come up. I know it's in one of these videos that's going to spark my interest. Let's play that. Let's play the next video, brothers.
And developing tonight this weekend was one of the deadliest in Chicago this year. And today the violence continued. 14 people were shot and killed this weekend, and more than 100 others were hurt. The youngest casualty was 3 years old, Mekhi James. He was shot and killed while sitting in a car with his father in the South Austin neighborhood. Police say his father was a target.
Pause.
Despite the threat.
Pause. So they were the drug dealers or the gang members were trying to get to the dad on, I guess, of close to Father's Day. We're getting ready to make your child fatherless, or we're gonna make, But they killed the child.
Right.
They killed the kid. This is the kind of stuff that so-called Black Lives Matter ain't interested in. We're gonna talk more about it. It's gonna get deep, brothers. It's gonna get deep, sisters. Play on. So you say the little kid, he got killed.
Look at that young man.
He got killed because they were trying to get to the father, trying to get him. Go ahead.
Wow.
Threat of severe weather, people gathered to pray for the young children hurt and killed during weekend violence. WGN's Eric Rung is covering that for us tonight. He's live from Comer Children's Hospital. Eric.
Well, good evening, and one of the reasons why we are here is because that violence did continue today. A 3-year-old little girl was grazed by a bullet. We are told she is going to be okay. That is according to police, but her family, as well as several others in Chicago, are hurting tonight. They gathered on a corner in the Austin neighborhood to demand change.
We cannot allow it. We will not allow it.
Over the weekend, 3-year-old Mekhi James and 13-year-old Amara Jones were killed by bullets intended for others.
If you live around Austin, it affects you whether you see it or not.
They gathered to say enough and asked for justice.
Hold it, pause it. You were going to say something?
That? There's a brother right behind her, but she's the face of that movement.
Hey, ain't that something?
And that is a man right behind her with a Malcolm X shirt on and everything, but the woman is the face of that movement.
And it's good that you picked that up too, because a lot of people won't even pick that up.
Right.
It just shows you that the black man is emasculated, where we're comfortable, and the brothers are not even bothered by that.
Yeah, it's another one right there.
They're not even bothered that the fact that the woman is doing the doggone speaking. This is like you would hear if you learn about when police respond to domestic situations. The police say, we want to talk to Big Mama. That's damn near in their protocol. You want to find out what's going on in the house, who knows what, go to Big Mama. Sit down, nigga. They tell the man, move out the way. We want to speak to Mama. Right. She's the one that's going to verify what's happened. Damn. Go ahead.
Humanity. This isn't about black or white. This is humanity.
Community activists.
Okay, so finally, okay, he getting it in. Okay, I see he getting it in.
I digress.
Okay, getting it in. All praises. Let's see what's going on now. Come on.
People should come to the streets as they did after the death of George Floyd.
But if there was a police officer that killed that 3-year-old, there would have been 10,000 people on this corner right now. So when we say we can't breathe, let's be honest and understand there's people in our community taking our breath. Yes.
That's it right there. Stop. That was the part so it was the brother that said it.
Yeah. Okay,
Let's get what that brother said. Let's get what that brother said. Let's get that whole statement that the brother said. The sister did all right, but I wanted to get to the brother. The brother said something that was profound. Let's back it up to where the brother was speaking. Come on, brothers. Where we at?
But if there was a police officer that killed that 3-year-old, there would have been 10,000 people on this corner right now.
Stop.
So when
you heard what he said? He said if that would have been a police officer that did that, there would have been 10,000s and thousands of people in the streets.
Right.
That's the point that I want y'all to understand. The reason why he's correcting what he's saying is because whenever there's a situation where black and black kill each other, that's not newsworthy. That's not going to get you the political football to get your movement up into Congress, up into the Supreme Court. But if you say white cops kill black people, everybody's on it. Sharpton is on it.
Right.
This one is on it. That one is on it. Black people kill each other every day. But that's not newsworthy. That's not, it's just another nigga killing each other. Nobody wants to hear about that. But it's a sensational, it's sensationalism when you can get white people, white cops, and it ain't just white people, white cops, because even in the Ahmaud Arbery case, that wasn't as deep, even though you had white people that killed him. But if you get police, that will get you the news. That will get you up there. And that's the reason why I say it again, George Floyd, as tragic and as horrific as that death was, the Black Lives Matter movement don't give a damn about him. He was used as a political skateboard. That's what I'm gonna call it. A political skateboard to skate their way all the way up into the Supreme Court to change the laws for their benefit. That's what it's all about. Okay? Let it play again, and then we're gonna move on. Because Black Lives Matter don't matter to the so-called Black Lives Matter group.
They killed that 3-year-old. It would have been 10,000 people.
It would have been 10,000 people
right now.
They would have been there.
So when we say we can't breathe, let's be honest and understand there's people in our community taking our breath.
Don't nobody give a damn about that. Pause it.
Right.
Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next. I think I might have had more, but let's move on. He's saying something and it's falling on deaf ears because black on black killing each other don't sell. That's the point. It's not newsworthy. But if you get a white cop that kills a black kid, whether he's right or wrong, that makes the news. Right. Black Lives Matter understood that. They said we need something like that. They need something like that to get them to forward their political agenda.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I will say this right quick too, Deke. And Officer Eli, you mentioned it that they was just down there marching on Beatties Ford Road, right? I even seen with a sign where they was sitting on some steps and they had defund the police. How can you gonna defund the police?
The police wasn't the ones shooting it.
That's what I'm saying.
So what happened to that?
That's what I'm saying.
What happened to that?
That's what I'm saying.
Our people ain't truthful. You know, they don't want to deal with the facts. They don't want to deal with the facts. Give me my next video. We got to wake up, brothers and sisters. We have to wake up and stop playing games. We got to realize what the real deal is. We got to return to the Lord, keep these commandments, and repent of our sins. That's what we have to do, and we have to be serious about that and stop playing in these political games and people just using us like some cheap whore. Use the black people to get what they want to get in terms of politics, and then when they get what they want to get, the hell with the black people. And this last weekend just showed you that. All of the death that happened, Black Lives Matter ain't said a damn thing. Because their agenda was to get into the Supreme Court, change the law, and that's what they're looking for. As a matter of fact, before we play my next video, put that picture up there. I sent a picture. Hold on. I sent a picture. Not that. There's a picture of all of them standing out there talking about Black Lives Matter. That's it right there. Show the people that. This is what you're really into. This is what you're really supporting. It says Black, Queer, and Trans Lives Matter.
Yeah, it went.
That's where the movement is. That's what's going down. That's the reality. That's the reason why they don't give a damn about you killing yourselves, because it was never about you. You were just used to give them a political world stage for them to air their grievances about letting more of them be what they want to be.
You know, put that picture back up again, because this is what it actually reads. It reads Black, Queer, and Black Trans Lives Matter.
Damn.
They're not talking about black men in general. They're talking about queer and transgender. Those Black Lives Matter to them because that's a part of their movement. Wow.
That's just letting you know that this has never been about black people at all. Let's go back to where I was at. So that's what you're actually supporting. Okay? They don't give a damn about us. Let's get in my video now with the sister. That's it. Come on.
Welcome back to Hannity. Now, following the tragic death of a 9-year-old girl during a drive-by shooting in Ferguson, Missouri, a woman who grew up in St. Louis became so frustrated with the violence in the black community, she posted this critique to her Facebook page. It has now gone viral. Take a look.
A little girl is dead. You say Black Lives Matter? Her life matters. Police brutality? How about black brutality? There is real police brutality out there, I'll give you that. But night after night after night, on Channel 4, Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 30, Channel 11.
Pause it. I want to make it say, you notice she had to justify and say, listen, yes, police brutality is a reality. Why should she even have to say that if she's thinking about, if you compare the deaths that white police officers use against us, kill us. I mean, straight up, wicked as hell, kill us, and compare that to what we do to each other, it's not even worth a drop. It's not even worth a drop. But the sister feel like she had to still speak on it because there's a backlash if you leave that out.
Right.
She's talking about us killing each other, but that's not good enough. You have to speak about the one or two that killed us, or the 3 or 4. And, we always have to make the point, yes, we understand that it's a terrible thing, but why is it that the effort is not put on the fact that we're killing each other? And why is that such a statement that is being frowned upon? We didn't even realize we devalue our own selves in that rhetoric. Mm-hmm. Play on with the sister, man. But she had to say that for what? Go ahead.
Murder. Black on black murder. You think the police are out here for fun? You think they're out here for games? They're not going to tuck you in. They're not going to give you a cookie and sing you a lullaby and tuck you in.
Millions of views. That clip has gone viral, and its message is resonating all across America. Joining us now, the woman behind that video, Peggy Hubbard. Peggy, I wanted to reach out when I heard that and give you a big hug and say thank you, because we are seeing in every big city in America.
Pause it for a second, because I know some people that why we're playing the Esau, we're playing the white man's piece of it. We know he's the devil. We understand all of that, and we know that his empathy is fake as hell. We understand that. But the point still needs to be made, because at this point, this is the only platform that we really have for black people to really come up on a national or international stage to make their point. Like the sister, she's got a platform to speak about a concern that's really going on in our community. And if the host is Esau, then you just have to deal with it. So never mind him. We know that he's not really sincere. We don't care about that. We want to pay attention to what the sister is saying. But even though he's not sincere, he's still going to say some things that's going to make some sense. Okay? Let's roll on. It's going to get into it. Come on.
We are seeing young people that have talent and ability whose lives are being snuffed out. We don't know their names. We don't hear about their names.
That's true.
And it seems that we're a society that is obsessed with, Trayvon Martin, that case, Michael Brown, that case, and Freddie Gray in that case, but nobody wants to talk about the thousands of lives that are being lost in black-on-black crime.
Pause.
Why do you think there's...
That's the question. What time are we at? We got some more. We're going to go to 3:06, right? I said 3:16 in this one. So you heard what he said. Back up and get that question again, because I want y'all to put the question in your mind. It was a point that he was making about the countless lives in our community. Nameless. We don't even know who they are. But the certain ones that stick out, Trayvon Martin, what was it? Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, Castillo. All of these were incidents that involved police. For the most part. I think might have been one that may be out of it, but the majority of them involve police. So that's good sensationalism. That's good press. That's good headlines. Then that means if you get good headlines, if you are attached to the headlines, when people read the headlines, they read about you too. Clout. Go ahead.
Can I pull a scripture for a second?
Absolutely.
Because
I'm coming to the scriptures, but yeah, let's get the scriptures in now.
Exodus chapter 2.
It ain't never too early to pull a scripture.
Because what we're seeing today was the same. We've been doing this throughout centuries. We was doing this in the book of Exodus. Watch this. Exodus chapter 2, start at verse 11.
Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren.
So Moses is going to go check on his brothers. Go ahead.
And looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew.
So that would be, in today's reference, that would be the officer dealing with one of your brothers. Right? Go ahead.
One of his brethren. And he looked this way.
So Moses said, Go ahead.
And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man,
he saw that the coast was clear,
he slew the Egyptian.
He dealt with him for dealing with his brothers wrong. Now, don't do that. I'm just showing you an example of what was going on then. Go ahead.
And hid him in the sand.
Now, watch this. This is what we do. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together.
So now they're fighting each other. He just dealt with the officer for dealing with his brother, but now he goes out the second day, and what are they doing? Fighting each other.
There you go.
That's the same thing that they do now. They make a big fuss out of police brutality, but at the same time, they're striving against one another. They're killing each other more than a police officer in a year. You're talking about maybe, it might be 1,000. Between the police killings and what we do, we total probably 100,000 a year.
Exactly. That's a comparison.
Right. Yes, that's the comparison. Go ahead. Finish off the scripture and give it back to Deep.
And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
And why are why y'all fighting? And that's what we're bringing out. We're hurting each other. And it was going on back then. It's the same thing that's happening now.
Exactly.
That's it, Deep.
All praise to the Most High. So let's get back to this video. There's some more in there. Let's get back to this video. We getting ready to get into more of the scripture. Y'all know what's coming. This is Bible Book of Our Fathers. What else we going to do? Right. Scriptures is coming. Read. Play on.
Trayvon Martin, that case, Michael Brown, that case, and Freddie Gray in that case. But nobody wants to talk about the thousands of lives that are being lost in black-on-black crime. Why do you think there's an unwillingness to deal with this?
Because black people, I'm going to answer it. Because black people do not make good press. Black on black do not make good headlines. Oh, just another nigga killed? 14 niggas killed last week? That's how they talk about us. They say that ain't newsworthy. But if you get a white cop that kill a brother, now that's big news.
Right.
And all of these so-called political leaders and so forth, they use that to further their particular agenda. Damn. Go ahead.
On it, Sean, is to acknowledge this is happening, they have to face their own reality. And they don't want to do that. On my way to the station for this interview, I just found out that a toddler was shot and killed.
Dang.
In North St. Louis County, the same
on her way to the studio, on her way to do what she's doing now, on her way there, she gets a notice that another child was killed, murdered.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Area that we just lost, Jamila Bolton.
This is a 9-year-old girl who was studying in her house.
Yes.
Doing her homework.
Yes.
Peggy, one day on this...
Stop. A 9-year-old child that was in her house doing her homework. A bullet comes in through the window or through the wall and kills her. But that's not newsworthy. That's Black Lives Matter. Don't have nothing to do with that. Because it was never about black lives. I think y'all starting to see that now. Right. When we pointed out, like in last week, and during the Sabbath, when we read that the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, they told you flat out that they don't give a damn about you. They told you that their whole agenda, and we're gonna touch that and plenty more. That's gonna let you know that this was a campaign from the beginning. That it was never about you so-called black people, you black men and black women. It was never about you. It was always about a Sodom agenda. That's what we're going to show you. We're going to show it to you.
Indeed.
Go ahead.
This sister right here, she cares about her people.
Yes.
I'll tell you why. She cares about her people because she's there talking about the problems that's in her community.
Right.
She's talking about the problems. Black Lives is not talking about the problems. They're only there for high profile. They're not there in Charlotte. They're not there with this sister that's this sister's talking about.
Exactly.
So she's showing that she wants change in her community. Black Lives Matter is not about that. They're not about change in their community.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I see you getting heated up over there, but that's good. That's good. We need that thing.
Right.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's right.
Because that's what it is. That's what it is. Let's play on.
Program when all of the Trayvon Martin stuff was going on and the president weighed in on it. I actually scrolled the names on the bottom of the screen of people we've never heard of that were killed in Chicago. Dozens and dozens and dozens. Why do these groups focus on the few instances, and there are examples of police that do the wrong thing, and when that happens, they should go to jail.
No doubt about it.
But why not the many? Where's the protest for the young girls like this 9-year-old girl? You never see that.
That's the point.
No, you don't. That's the problem. We want to glorify the criminals, the bad guys. We want to glorify them and give credence to their life.
Yeah. I was glad in the video.
What contributions did they make?
Do you hear that? So, but Hannity, he asked the important question. He said when he was on his program, I guess he had to really search for the names to even scroll them across the screen. And he said, how come there's no outcry about these lives? Now, like I said, that's Esau. He don't give a damn. But the point still needs to be made.
Right.
The point still need to be made. We need to be making a point. Why in the world are we going to allow a LGBT movement to come in and use a death of one of our people and take it all the way to the White House? And meanwhile, we're killing each other like flies, like it's no tomorrow.
Right.
And ain't nobody said a damn thing except a few people. A few. You see the sister that spoke earlier. You see this sister here speaking. You see the brother that's speaking. But that's it. You ain't going to get no real cry or nothing. No civil disobedience, none of that. And you're going to find out that don't go nowhere. That civil disobedience ain't got nothing to do with you black people. All that civil disobedience and burning up Antifa and all that, that's got nothing to do with you so-called black people. They don't give a damn about you dying. Go ahead.
The only reason why they're being heard is because of the high-profile case that's going on right now. Otherwise, they wouldn't even... She wouldn't be on this.
Check that out.
They wouldn't bring her up there.
You hear that?
Exactly.
See that?
That's
See,
the
you don't
only
went
reason.
deep. She wouldn't even be on Hannity's program had it not been for the George Floyd and the other high-profile cases. It's an excellent point. So, again, that goes back to show you that, when Esau get up there, don't be wowed by his so-called sympathy because it ain't about that. But still, the point needs to be made. How come there's no outcry for all of this mayhem that just happened over the weekend? Mm-hmm. All of the names of the people that we don't even hear about, nothing. Their lives matter. Here's a girl that could have been your daughter doing her homework in a room, and all of a sudden a bully come in there and take her out. I know many cases like that, and you don't even know who they are because police ain't attached to it because you can't use that and run with it. Mm-hmm.
There's no money behind it.
There's no money behind it. That's the point. There's no money behind it. Damn. All right. Now we're going to get back into it. Put my picture back up there again. My picture with the trans lives. That thing. Yeah, put that filth back up there again. Okay. Now we're going to get into the truth behind Black Lives Matter. Okay. Leave it up there for a minute. I'm going to read something. I had written this down because I want y'all to get the understanding of why we're going over this program. Okay. Black trans lives matter, because that's exactly what you're seeing there. Okay, which is the actual true mission of this movement. It is cleverly named Black Lives Matter. That's clever for them to do that. They put black lives because black sells. Well, Black Lives Matter sells. You can bring it back on me. You ain't had the people just standing there, but in and out. We can go in and out so the people can stay with what I'm saying. Okay, so Black Lives Matter. They cleverly named it Black Lives Matter, and they use that as their slogan because that sells. Mm-hmm. So they'll use an unfortunate event like Trayvon Martin, because they did that during his time too. The rest of the people that have been wiped out, they didn't care about that. They do the same thing with George Floyd. You want to bring out something, Captain?
No.
George Floyd, because this sells.
Yeah.
So they were very clever in doing that. When I first heard about how organized this group was, I knew that so-called black people wasn't the head of it. I said, this thing is much, much deeper than so-called Negroes just getting together and just rioting and looting. And I said, no, this is too well organized. That's why Trump called him a terrorist. He's right, because that is a well-funded, well-organized movement that got billions of dollars. They're damn near in the same league with SPLC. They all got the same damn agenda, to kill black folk, to kill the Bible. That's what it really is. SPLC, the same thing as Black Lives Matter. You're going to find out, and I'm just talking about those two for a moment. Both of those, their agenda is to get rid of the Bible. Is to get rid of, I'm talking about the real meaning of the Bible. I ain't talking about Christianity. They love that. But to get rid of what the Bible is really saying, they're trying to get rid of that, and they're trying to get rid of any representative of the Bible.
Right.
Okay? Speak on something. Let me grab something out of my bag.
Okay. So there was now don't think that we don't see the other incidents and things that's going on out there in the world, the racism against our people, but we're focused on us. That's the main focus.
But see that, Captain, even with that statement, just like you said, keep your thought, don't lose
your
thought.
Sir.
But you notice that we always have to justify that we're not leaving the white man off the hook, that we're not leaving this off the hook. You know damn well we ain't leaving them off the hook.
No
but
way.
when we speak to something that deals with us, We always have to find, well, what about the white people? Because we never want to face the facts about what's really going down. Yeah, the white man's the devil. Yeah, about all of the stuff that's happening to us, the white cops killing us. We know all about that. Lynchings and all that. We know all about that. But why is it that gets such notoriety, but when we do it to each other, it means nothing?
Right.
You want to know why? Because in our mind, Jesus killed us. In our mind, Jesus lynched us. But when we do it to each other, we're just another nigga.
Right.
Go ahead, Captain.
And not only that, you got the Black Lives Matter. They're even trying to use, that Jesus is a black man. They're trying to use that to push their agenda too. I don't know. Did I send that video to y'all?
Well, that's a part that's gonna. Well, not that particular thing.
Okay,
but I know that.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know that.
It was on Fox News.
That's circulating. You want to go ahead and bring it out? Bring it out since you.
Yeah. Did I send that video to y'all?
Yeah, it's there.
Let's see. Yeah, see if that's it right there. It's when it's on Fox News. Yeah, that one there. So I just want y'all to hear this. But there again, we're not naive. And what's crazy is that we're actually, Eli brothers, we actually strengthening their hands. We're strengthening our enemies' hands when way we acting amongst ourselves, because it makes us look like we're worthless to not even live at all when we killing our own. So what the heck the other nations going to think about us? You know, how you think they're going to treat us when we don't even treat ourselves with self-respect? Okay,
right?
We empowering their hands to do what they do against us if we don't come back and repent.
It goes with their agenda, because as long as black men are killing black men, what's the need for black men?
Exactly.
We're killing each other anyway. We're helping them out.
That's exactly right. We're helping them out, and they're trying to remove the like you said, this Bible, the true word of God. You know, they trying to then they may throw some little scriptures in there from time to time. Let's use this as an example. They'll throw a little something in every now and then, make you think they're about Black Lives Matter, but the whole agenda, a lot of our people are being deceived. You go ahead and play it. Let's see what it said. See if we can dissect this.
Acts, and you said that he, was an anomaly, Martin Luther King. He said, "Let us be dissatisfied until that day when nobody will shout white power, when nobody will shout black power, but everybody will talk about God's power and human power." Do you agree with that?
I love the Lord, and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, is the most famous black radical revolutionary in history. And he was treated just like Dr. King. He was arrested on occasion, and he was also crucified or assassinated.
So pause it just for a minute. So now they name dropping. They're using Black Lives Matter. Now here they're using Dr. Martin Luther King.
And now they're using a black man to bring it out.
Right.
Even though their whole system is built on transsexualism, and they're using the black man to bring it out.
Right. It's all a fluke. Play on.
To black activists, we are killed by the government. Well, and if you need context, if you read your Bible, it will say that Jesus had feet like burnt brass and hair like wool. I don't know if you noticed, but our hair seems to be more like wool, and we seem to be likened to that color than anyone else. And, it's just the hypocrisy and the white supremacy in America and in the world that would show us portraits of a pasty white Jesus. Jesus was not white. We all know this.
Watch her reaction.
I think Jesus is Jesus to all Christians, and people interpret him in imagery in different ways. Obviously, he was from.
Okay, good. I didn't want to hear no more.
Damn. She's going to say he was from the Middle East, right?
Dancing all around it.
You see that? See?
Of some clown with a camera.
Wow.
Mute that.
Okay, yeah. Now let's get that's something else. I didn't know what to expect, but that's some good stuff there.
Crazy, indeed.
Yeah. So like I said, let's get on with it. Let's get time is flying. Time is flying. Like I said, Black trans lives matter. Black trans lives is what matter, which is the true mission of this movement, which is cleverly named Black Lives Matter. Has almost nothing to do with the ongoing plights and situation concerning Trayvon Martin and George Floyd's notorious deaths, as per se. Because, when they died, those things went viral. Everybody know about that. But rather, their deaths were used, because they really don't give a damn about these men.
Right.
But let's say how they did use their deaths. Black Lives Matter. Black trans lives matter. They used these men's deaths. They used them as a platform and a political skateboard to enter onto the world stage for the purpose of normalizing homosexual behavior. The plight of black people has always been disrespectfully used to further an agenda that doesn't serve our political issues or problems. An example, I'll give you another example of our people being used for an agenda that had nothing to do with us. So like, for instance, feminism. You had the feminist movement that came along, and the white woman was in competition with her white man. But in order for that movement to get any kind of legs, you have to involve black people, because we got the black woman got the big mouths and all of that, yelling in the street and all that. Said we need to get her on it,
right?
Because she's going to make noise. Whenever they want to show an aggressive woman, they always go to our sisters, and that's a stereotype. I understand it, and it shouldn't be that way, but that's how they have it.
Right.
And so they'll come to you. They said, put Big Mama up there, because she's going to make things happen. And some of us take on that psychology, sad to say. We take on that like it's a badge of honor. And we've done that. But in reality, the white woman wasn't really against her white man, because when they had the election with Hillary Clinton, who did the majority of the white women vote for? Donald Trump. Okay, but we bought into that doggone thing, and it's our families that's destroyed. Our women practice feminism against her black man, but the white woman is in league with her white man. So we've been duped again on both sides, on the side of George Floyd and on the side of our women. We've been duped because nobody cares about black people. That's what you have to realize. The so-called Black Lives Movement don't give a damn about us, and the society don't give a damn about us. So we need to realize that. So now, like I was saying, getting on with it. I'm going to give you a little bit of history on how this movement became normalized. This put that picture up there again. How this mess came normalized. Black, queer, and trans lives matter. How did this stuff become normalized? Bear with me now. In the early 1970s, homosexuality was considered deviant behavior. It was. Okay? And it actually goes back to the 50s. They actually had it in law. We're going to read a little bit of that. Was considered deviant behavior. But later, the change in the definition of homosexuality being linked to deviant behavior by behavioral psychology said that it wasn't deviant, okay? And at that point, the social engineering system began to take root to turn people's minds around and to shape people's thinking into the society that we're looking at now. Was a vortex of decadence and filthiness is what's going on now. But it actually began around the time in the 70s when they began to change the definition of certain things. You just witnessed that happen just last week in the Supreme Court,
right,
when they changed the definition of sex. But they would. That's just another milestone in their crusade to normalize that behavior. Okay, I hope everybody's with me. So now let's look up the term deviant. Let's look up deviant, okay? Let's get that thing out there, because what we need to realize is that we are witnessing a society that is ever turning into what the Bible calls Sodom and Egypt. That's the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. This is what we're living in now, okay? Let's look up deviant. Let's put it on the screen. Because they used to call homosexual behavior deviant, okay? So let's find out what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Deviant, departing from usual or accepted standards.
Departing or coming away from usual or accepted standards. Let's take that biblically. The Most High has in his Bible moral behavior. He has in the Bible, he has laws, categories of laws. He has civil laws, which deals with how we are to deal. In other words, black on black crime would not exist if we were practicing the civility law between us.
Right.
Okay? You have a moral law. The moral law is what we're talking about now with this homosexual stuff. That's a law against morality. That's immoral. All of those are considered deviant behaviors. You have the dietary law, which is to tell you what to eat and what you shouldn't eat. Then you have the ceremonial law, which means our high holy days. All of those things is how God made us. That's the standard by which we are supposed to be living. So let's read that again.
Deviant, departing from usual or accepted standards, especially in social or sexual behavior.
Especially in social and sexual behavior, social or sexual behavior. Now, jump down where it says something about examples. Move down. Is there a part of here that speaks about examples? Okay, you might have to go. Right there, click that. What are examples? Right, that's what I need. What are examples of, I want to make sure that's what I have here. Yeah, that's good. What are examples of deviant behavior? Let's keep that word deviant. Deviant means to deviate.
Right.
The root word of deviant behavior, meaning that you have deviated from where you're supposed to be. That's the point. When you deviate from the norm, you're into deviant behavior. A man going up another man's rectum is outside of moral behavior. Right. That's deviant behavior. How in the hell are you going to turn around and say that that's not deviant anymore? Because you begin to program people's minds over time. And that's what has happened since the 70s. Actually, the law was put in the California books I was reading earlier in the 50s because of a case that had happened. And then they tried to say that it had nothing to do with sexual mentality, but it was still deviant. Okay? And for a man to deal with a little child, whether it's murder or sexual, whatever it is still considered deviant behavior because those are laws. There are laws in the Bible which determines what's deviant and what's not deviant, the standard so you can understand. That's how you know where you're supposed to stand at. Okay, now let's read that. Come on.
What are examples of deviant behavior?
Yes.
Deviant behavior may violate formally enacted rules or informal social norms.
Go ahead. Now we're going to talk about the formal ones.
Formal deviance includes criminal violations of formally enacted laws.
Go ahead.
Examples of formal deviance include robbery.
So if you're robbing somebody, that's deviant behavior. If you are in theft, stealing, that's deviant behavior. Rape is deviant behavior. Murder is deviant behavior. Assault is deviant behavior. All of these are sins according to the Bible.
Right.
These are sins. Okay. Now give me my next piece. I sent you a link just because I was looking for it. That's why I was all over the place a little earlier. California law. Look for that. Find that for me. I just sent it to you. So just might have to refresh it and pull it up again. California law. Look, that's it right there. Show that. Okay. Read it for me. I'm gonna go into some stuff.
California law calls homosexuals deviant.
Hold it. California law calls homosexuals deviant. Go ahead.
Perhaps not for long.
What do they mean perhaps not for long? Because we get ready to do a campaign that's going to change how people see this thing. Look at that thing. They said, but not for long because we get ready to mess with your head. Well, you're going to look at two men, Bob and James, in the bed together, and you're going to consider that normal behavior. They said, we got the plan. We're going to make this thing normal. Read it again.
Pull it up.
California
law calls homosexuals deviant. Perhaps not for long.
But they ain't going to call it deviant for too long. Now, let's get down to the writing. Hold it. Right there.
Can we get the date real quick? Get the date when this was written. 2010. That's 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Wow. But they're going to show you where the law came from. Come on.
Sacramento, California, CBS, AP.
I imagine that's the Associated Press. Go ahead.
Associated Press.
Right.
And what's that?
Archaic, meaning old. They're trying to say this is an old law.
An archaic California law that classifies homosexuality as deviant behavior purportedly to further research to facilitate the identifications of sex offenders is one step closer to being repealed thanks to a vote Tuesday.
So they're saying, listen, this whole thing about sexuality being deviant behavior, he said that we're getting ready to go into a campaign that's going to bring us one step closer to this law being repealed, meaning it's not going to be considered deviant anymore. They're working to make it normal. Read.
The law was written in 1950 as a response to public outcry after a series of sex crimes in Los Angeles.
After a series of what?
Sex crimes in Los Angeles.
So keep that in mind. Sex crimes. Sex crimes meaning sex that's going on that's criminal, meaning that these two people ain't supposed to be having sex. Go ahead.
Which included the rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl.
Damn.
The murderer, who openly confessed his crime, was not gay.
That ain't got nothing to do with it. It's still deviant. Go ahead.
The law classifies homosexuals as sexual deviants and required the State Department of Mental Health to conduct research on deviations conducive to
sex crimes against children. So they were right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So they will put him in the hospital basically and try to find out what's wrong with him because they know something is wrong with that thing. Okay. So now the point that I wanted to draw from this, because it's talking about the part about the 6-year-old girl. Now give me NAMBLA. Give me NAMBLA. Take it off the screen. Give me NAMBLA. We'll try to get these scriptures in. I know the break is coming up. We got our commercials lined up for our break, brothers. Let's go. Give me the NAMBLA. Let me see. Let me see if that's what I want. Hold on. Yes, let's read that. Watch this here.
North American man.
So they're saying that they're trying to repeal. I hope everybody's with me because I'm kind of got a lot of stuff going on here, like I said. They're trying to normalize what we found out was criminal. Here you got a 6-year-old girl that's just got raped and murdered. So now they're going to try to find a way to, like, repeal that thing to make it normal. Go ahead. You got it?
North American Man-Boy Love Association.
The acronym is NAMBLA. North American Man or Male Boy Love Association. That's an actual group. Can you believe that? That's actually going down. That's in this country now. Wow. Go ahead.
Is a pedophilia and pedastry. How do you pronounce that?
Pederasty. Let's
Pederasty.
look that word up. Let me read it. Let me read this part of it. The North American Man-Boy Love Association is a pedophilia and pederasty advocacy organization in the United States. Let's find out what that word pederasty means. Let's get the definition of that thing. Read that. Watch this.
Pederasty.
I'm going to show you. Everybody's trying to figure out where I'm going. They said, where's Deacon going? He's all over the place. I'm going to show you that Black Lives Matter is about this. And they ain't got a damn thing to do with your lives. That's what we're about to do. I'm cross-referencing a lot of material, but it's going to all link back to show you that Black Lives Matter ain't got a damn thing to do with George Floyd or Sandra Bland or none of that. Read.
Pederasty is a sexual relationship between an adult man, and a pubescent or adolescent boy.
Wow. Go ahead.
The term pederasty is primarily used to refer to historical practices of certain cultures, particularly ancient Greece and ancient Rome.
They're going back home to Greece and Rome.
Who are them folks?
Caligula and all of that.
Oh.
They're letting you know that that's where that spirit comes from. That's it right there. That's their thing.
Spirit of Edom.
That's their thing there. Read on.
In most countries today, the local age of consent determines whether a person is considered legally competent to consent to sexual acts.
Now, stop right there, because you can read the rest of this, but I'm going to go back up to the top part of that, because we're going to go somewhere else. We're getting ready to cross-reference something else, because there's a term that this is talking about that's going to correlate with what you have in your so-called Black Lives Matter documents to let you know exactly what that movement is about. Like I said, the real name of it should have been Black Trans and Queer Lives Matter. But they cleverly use Black lives because they use us up like we're a whore or something.
Right.
As soon as they get to where they want to get, they kick the whore out the bedroom. That's the point. That's what they do to black people. Read that top line again.
Pedastry is a sexual relationship between an adult man and a pubescent or adolescent boy.
So Man-Boy Love Association. That's what they're talking about. Now, let's go to Black Lives Matter. Let's go to Black Lives Matter. Let's go to the Black Lives. Go back to that thing that I posted last week. Just take your time and look for it, because I need it. Go to the mission statement that we talked about last week.
Right, it's on the Black Lives Matter actual.
It's it's on their actual
web page.
On their web page. Watch this. To let you know what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Just go to their web page. It's right on their web page.
Yep.
Bear with me, brothers and sisters. We're going to take a break right after this, and we're going to get ourselves together because the scriptures is coming next.
Yeah.
To show you how sick this behavior is. Okay. You know the part that I'm looking for? The mission. It said what we believe. That's the part. It says what we believe. What we believe. What we believe. I guess you got to click on something.
Yeah, I know it got pretty heavy there for some of y'all listeners because we start pulling out them, breaking down
there,
them
what we believe.
Words and definitions of words. It started exposing a whole lot there, you know.
Right.
It started exposing a whole lot.
Scroll down
the
to the
deviance.
Right.
One of the brothers had it was a definition of sexual deviance as well. And now, what you call it? Pederasty.
Now I want to get to this here. Now last week in the bishop's class and the former classes that we did, we went through this website. We went through this thing and when we explained the majority of it. But I want to focus on something that we were just talking about. Jump down to the part where it says we foster. Let me get my paperwork together so I can remember where to go.
It's towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Right
it
there,
is
right
there. Where
right
we
there.
disrupt Western prescribed.
Right. Let's read this here. It says we Black Lives Matter. We foster a queer affirming network. So we don't foster Black Lives Matter no more. We don't foster not even George Floyd. We don't foster policies to protect people like him. Ahmaud Arbery. None of that. Trayvon Martin. None of that. We ain't interested in that. But what we do as Black Lives Matter, we foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of normal. That's what I want to say that. Of heteronormative thinking. That's the part that I wanted right there. They said that they are in the business of freeing people from the tight grip. They call it like it's a punishment to think hetero, to think normal, to think of man and woman, to think of family. They said we want to relieve you from that. Make you free thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying.
Right.
This is them talking. The liberals. This is what they're doing. So they said that to free you from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, meaning they don't even want you to even think about being a man being with a woman, woman being with a man and a woman getting together, have children. That's not normal. We want to free you from that terrible grip of normality. Damn. It further on goes on to say, where am I at? Now, let me just jump down. We cultivate, this is the reason why I went to this. I wanted to read that earlier, but this is what I want to read. We cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free from ageism. Ageism meaning generations, meaning that you got ageism, meaning that there's, let's look up the word so I don't butcher it up. Let's put up ageism. And I'm going to show you that these people believe in NAMBLA. And you ain't seen nothing yet. I got more information here. But we get ready to get into these scriptures after the break. Look up ageism. Define ageism. You got it right there. Hit it. Not in sociology. Right. Get rid of that. Let's read it. Prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. I need better than that. That's not enough. Ageism deals with the categorizing of groups, generationals, on the basis of their age. Okay, I guess I have to use that. I'm just looking at different things. Particular age group, that's what I wanted. Prejudice or discrimination against a particular age group, and especially the elderly. How to use ageism. What happened? How to use ageism.
Go back to where you was at. It was the one right up above. You were just reading it. Go back up. Was it particular?
Yeah, just get on Wikipedia.
He was just reading it. That's.
I done lost my spot.
There it is. Groups of age. Go back up. Slow down a little bit. Against individuals or groups on basis of their age,
So basically, they're trying to just blur the lines of generations. That's what they're saying.
Because it did say elderly, going back to our traditions and our elders.
They want to blur the ages. That's NAMBLA. They want to blur. In other words, it would be very inappropriate for a 45-year-old man to deal with a girl that's 15 years old or 17 years old, even in her 20s. It just don't look right because it's normally separated. People have it in their mind. It just don't make sense. Cougarism, like what people call it. That would be a situation of ageism. They said, sister, he's too young for you. A brother, he's too old for you. I mean, sister, he's too old for you, or something like that. That's because of ageism. NAMBLA and Black Lives Matter say we want to get rid of that. And the reason why they want to get rid of that is because they want to roll with the NAMBLA. Okay? Did y'all find where I was at? Because I kind of wanted to read that before we go into the break, because I don't like when we just mess up like this.
Right there. That's what you was reading at. Prejudice, discrimination against particular age.
Do we have it?
Especially
just open
elderly.
it up if we got it.
Up above. I think this is the one up above. That's what he was reading. Yeah, that one there he was reading.
Click it. All right, forget about it. Well, I'm going to read. Prejudice or discrimination against particular age group and especially the elderly. I didn't like that one. It was more in there, but that's all right.
Go to other words. See if there's something that can link in what Deacon's talking about.
Other words. Go up. It says other words of ageism. It's not giving enough
information. I got to go deeper into ageism so you'll know what they're talking about.
Okay. So when you hit other words, when it says other words, you don't think it's nothing to find out?
No.
Okay.
We'll find it on the break.
All right. Let's take a break, brothers and sisters. Let's take a break. We'll be back after these words.
All praises.
Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Israel United in Christ presents to you the Hebrews Journal, the news from our world. Informative articles on marriage, health, and current events for the building of our nation. Download your free copy today by visiting IsraelUnite.org. Shalom.
Look at you and stare at you, but is it really spiritual? All eyes on you, as you expected, but can they see your truth? My blacks, Hispanics, Native American sisters, you are the daughters of Sarah, such as me. We come through bleeding honesty, supporting our men as they take back what's ours. Many ask where we are, well, we keep us at home. Real women's repentant at heart. We are the daughters of Sarah. We are eloquently, beautifully, delicately made, not disrespecting our men, because we understand from a man we were made. We are set apart from the proud. Our voice is so soft, yet our presence is so loud. Yes, daughters of Sarah we are. Now don't you love how that sounds?
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone, 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are how men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.
Okay. All right. Put up. I just sent you the definition of this word. It wasn't age. We discussed what ageism is. Put that up there. Okay. Now we was on the site before. Let them see that. Then let's go back to where we got this word from. All right. Let's go back to the thing about Rome. But you see what it says. It says sexual activity involving a man and a boy. That's what ageism. When you get rid of ageism, you can allow this. Okay, that's the point. Now let's go back to where I was at, the NAMBLA thing. Now let's read that. Read that again, brothers.
You got it. NAMBLA is a pedophilia and pedastry advocacy organization in the United States. It works to abolish age of consent laws, criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors.
So they're telling you flat out right there. So laws that would normally get people locked up for this, they're working to get rid of that. Go ahead.
And campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for sexual contact with minors that did not involve what is considered coercion.
Coercion, because an older man is coercing the little boy to lay down with him. Okay, so Black Lives Matter is actually advocating this type of behavior. I ain't got to read no more because we wasted a lot of time on that. Let me just read something that I had here. And I was trying to find it if I had sent it to you, but I'm going to read this because I actually got it. It was quoted somewhere. And I'm going to just bear with me. I'm going to read this and I'm going to move on to the other parts of the lesson. It says, pederasty. It works to abolish age of consent laws criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors. Okay, and that's what we just read? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So now let's get the other article from Al Daily. It's spelled Oudaily. Not that. Al Daily, right there. Now, yeah, I know. Let's move. Now let's read where it says about NAMBLA. Move down. Now let's get some of these. Hold it. Let's move back up for a second. It says tolerances for excuse for exploitation of children. Move down. I'm just trying to see if I see something. Let's read a little bit of this here. Read that, Girl Lovers. Start with that thing there. Lil Amber. Let's start there. No, Girl Lovers, because I didn't want to spend a lot. Because this is talking about the girl side of pedophilia. Read.
Girl lovers.
So you can understand pederasty and pedophilia are the same word. It's basically the same thing. Go ahead, read.
Girl lovers are not exclusively male.
So it ain't just dealing with just the man boys, but also women and girls. Lesbians. Go ahead.
The North American Man-Boy Association posts an article from Linda Frankel titled, Sappho was a right-on pedophile. Frankel writes in admiration that Sappho preferred girls and dallied with her young students.
Frankel advocates children learning intimacy from an experienced adult. Damn. So they're trying to normalize this. Now read the next piece. NAMBLA. This is what I want to get to. Read.
NAMBLA cites pederasty as a freedom issue.
So it says it's not a term of deviance. It's a matter of freedom. They said we want to be free. It's not. He said it's not so nasty. It's not about pedophilia. It's not about me abusing the boy and all of that. It's about freedom. A freedom of me being able to express my love. It's sick as hell. Read.
Their websites advocates.
Okay, go ahead.
Ending the oppression of men and boys in mutually consensual relationships. In their lingo, to prohibit man-boy sex is sexual prejudice and oppression.
Just wrap your head around that for a minute. Keep that up there. Keep that up there. You got to let that thing sink in.
They need to
It
read
says in there, yes, NAMBLA cites pederasty as a freedom issue. Their website advocates that this is what they advocate. They want to end the oppression of men and boys in mutual consensual relationships. How in the world could a child consent to something like that? That's the reason why I was saying earlier about them having a dominance over the child. Because the child can't make that kind of decision. So they influence the child. They influence the minor. And then they said, we're both mutually consenting to this BS. And they said that you're restricting our freedom. They say in their lingo, to prohibit man-boy sex, a man and a boy, NAMBLA. They said to prevent that is sexual prejudice and oppression. The people are saying that they're being oppressed because they can't jump on this little boy. Wow. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. What do you think the word queer means? Meaning that it's strange. That's what it's talking about. It is deviant. No, Black Lives Matter. No, strange matters. That's what they're telling you. All right. Okay, where am I at? Read on. I think I had it marked.
It goes to the age.
Yeah, read on.
To tell a boy he can't let a man sodomize him is ageism.
That's what. Now hold it. That's what I wanted to get right there. So I'm trying to put it back together, brothers and sisters. To tell what they say. Read that again.
To tell a boy he can't let a man sodomize him is ageism.
They said that's discrimination. That's ageism. Let's go back to Black Lives Matter. I got to put it together for you. Let's go back to their webpage. We've read enough of this. That's all we need. Let's go back to their webpage. This is what they said here, that we cultivate an intergenerational, meaning the ages are blurred. The lines are blurred. It says, and communal network free of ageism. Black Lives Matter. Do y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
That's what you've been supporting. That's where all your money is going. The Democratic, all of them are a bunch of demons.
I was going to say, that's up there with the elite said.
That's a bunch of demons. So that's letting you know the filth that's behind all of this. And that's just one part of it. That's just one part of it. All right, we dealt a lot on that. Go back to that other thing. There was a little bit more information in there. Go back to the Al Daily. Read the rest of it. Publishers. You said, let's read that. To tell a boy, read that.
To tell a boy he can't let a man sodomize him is ageism.
That's ageism. They might as well be saying that's racism. That's prejudice. That's oppression. Let's listen to this language.
Right.
How in the world do you get to make this normal behavior? By poisoning the mind over time, a stitch in time. We're going to talk about that, right? Go ahead.
Apparently, We have been depriving prepubescent
yes
boys of their sexual freedom.
We've been depriving them of their sexual. We've been depriving minors of their sexual freedom. Y'all don't see that we're in the land of Sodom? This is Sodom and Gomorrah, super real. We're going to read about that continuing. Read.
NAMBLA publishes Boys Speak Out.
Did you skip something? Where you at? Yeah, no, you're on it. You're on. I'm looking at a different line. NAMBLA publishes what?
Boys Speak Out on Man-Boy Love, which you can order
The
online.
man speaks out on man-boy love. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Which you can order online.
You can order this online. You can get this filth online. Go ahead.
In it, you will find articles like, I'm not going to be kept away from him by an 11-year-old, or sex is really beautiful with my friend by a 13-year-old.
These are talking about men laying down with an 11-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy. Black Lives Matter is an advocacy group for this. That's what you're looking at. That's all I want on that. That's good enough. Now, the question is this considered deviant? This is some serious deviant behavior. Now let's get the Bible. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:29, man. Ecclesiastes 7:29. Y'all got to realize that dealing with that particular spirit is a rough deal. That is not a normal demon. That man wanting to lay down with man, woman wanting to lay down with woman, that is not an ordinary demon. You don't recognize the potency of that demon when it inhabits the spirits of people. That's the reason why the Most High said that if we don't get out of here, if he don't shut this thing down, everybody going to be poisoned by this philosophy, because you see how dangerous it is. Read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found.
This is Solomon. Go ahead.
That God hath made man upright.
That God has made man upright. Upright means that you're not deviant. Upright means that you're going to follow the laws, the standard, the moral code, the civil code. You're going to follow that. Read it again.
Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
That God has made man upright. But what's wrong with man? Read on.
But they have sought out many inventions.
But they have sought out many sins. That's what it's talking about. This foolishness here. We have sought that thing out. And that happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's happening right here in America. That's happening in all our communities. We sought out wicked inventions. We sought out many inventions. The whole purpose of the Bible is because people got this word when they talk about the Bible, that the Bible, the word is religion. Religion means to restrain, means to discipline. That's the real word. That's what it really means. It's to put brakes on impulse to commit sin. That's the reason why we need the Bible. The Bible has laws in it to keep us from deviant territory. But when you want to get rid of the Bible, like queer lives want to do, and SPLC want to do, and the American system, they want to get rid of the truth of the Bible because they want to establish Sodom agenda on this whole planet. That's what they want to do. But this is in the way. This Bible is in the way. This Bible is in the way, and everybody that stands with the Bible is in the way.
Right.
That's the reason why the scriptures say, who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Because we are in opposition to what they want. That's the reason why we're hated. And we're not hated because of us per se. We're hated because Christ is in this Bible and we're speaking Christ. Right. So they hated Christ too. That's what that brother was saying. They hated him. Mm-hmm. That brother on that clip that you showed. Right. That's what they were saying there. That's what he was saying. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to go to something. The overhauling of straight America. Let's go there. Let's go there to show you how this thing happened. Then we're going to get into some more scriptures. The overhauling of straight America. That's what I want. Now, I'm going to tell you where to go. Jump down to the part where it says, would a desensitizing campaign? Right there. Okay, y'all want to read this? Or y'all got it? Y'all going to get it straight?
We're going to work it out.
Okay, let's get it right now. We've been having a rough time this. Read. Now, when you read this particular thing here, this is the Overhauling of Straight America is written by Marshall Kirk, okay? And he puts out some information to show you how America was overhauled into a gay society. And this is the steps on how they did it. Okay, now read.
With a desensitizing campaign of open and sustained talk about gay issues, reach every rampant opponent of homosexuality?
That's a question. Will it reach every opponent? Opponent means people that are in opposition to this wicked business that we're talking about. With an open and sustained talk. In other words, they're saying that if we talk about it enough, is that going to reach everybody? They're going to make the point to show you how they're going to reach everybody. Let's continue reading.
Of course not.
He said, of course not. So in other words, other actions are needed. Go ahead.
While public opinion is one primary source of mainstream values, religious authority is the other.
So it says primary source. It says while public opinion is the way people think now because they watch TV. People's opinion is shaped by television. People don't really have their own opinion. Their opinion is shaped by television. My two dads. Billy has two fathers. Rainbow curriculum. Two boys sleeping in the same bed together. Stuff like that. Two girls being together. They've used those avenues to persuade the people's opinion. So they say on one hand, you have public opinion is one primary source of mainstream values, and then it says religious authority is the other. The religious authority is talking about church, talking about the Bible. That's what they mean. So they say we got to affect both sides. Read.
When conservative churches condemn gays.
When conservative, this is they're talking about the church side now. When conservative churches condemn gays, go ahead.
There are only two things we can do to confound the homophobia of true believers.
There are two things that we can do to confound. So their whole mission is to confound us. Because the true believers in the Bible, they said we have to confound them. How are we going to do it? This is what they said. How do we do it? Read.
Deke, real quick.
Yeah.
The homophobia part in there is already trying to label you as a fear of homosexuality when that's not the case.
Exactly. See that? There's so much in here because I'm with you. Just the mere fact that they're saying that because you reading the Bible, you bringing out the Bible, they're saying you're homophobic. Oh, you want to attack me. Oh, you're against me. That's the point there. They want you to feel. That's why I say that. Well, why are we apologizing?
Right.
Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to feel like you're in the wrong for speaking truth.
That's them trigger words.
That's those trigger words.
Like condemn.
Condemn, stuff like that.
Condemn and homophobia.
I'm showing you that this is a concerted effort to destroy the Israelites and the Bible. Read.
First, we can use talk to muddy the moral waters.
Go ahead.
This means publicizing support for gays by more moderate churches.
There's some churches that allow gays, so we will support them. And use them to condemn the more quote-unquote radical ones, the more stringent ones in the Bible. We will use them to condemn the ones that are more the true believers.
Right.
Go ahead.
Where we at? Raising theological objections of our own about conservative interpretations of biblical teaching.
So in other words, they're saying you got it wrong. They say you don't understand the Bible. They try to use arguments to say, no, it didn't really mean that. They'll actually put some stuff in there and talk about Jesus was gay. They'll even go as far as that to say, no, that's your interpretation. They'll be arguing with you about what the Bible clearly is saying. Go ahead.
Just for a second. Hey, they already got a movie coming out with Michael Jackson's daughter playing as Jesus, as though he was gay.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
That's an example. Read.
All right.
Stay with me now.
Raising theological objections of our own about conservative interpretations of biblical teachings and exposing hatred and inconsistency.
Hatred and inconsistency? There's nothing inconsistent about the Bible, but they're going to make it seem like it's inconsistent. There's nothing hateful about the Bible in terms of bringing out God's truth, but they're going to say you're a hate monger. Why do we have to put at the beginning of our show that we're not a hate group? That's a perfect example. We have not demonstrated no hate against nobody. We're reading the Bible. Here you are killing people wholesale. Nobody called you a hate group. But that's the part of the program.
And it's shown we're in that first step.
We're in that
first step that they got up there.
Go ahead. There's more. Read on.
Second, we can undermine the moral
I want y'all
authority.
to understand that as we're reading this, just think about Black Lives Matter. That's the point. Because I know a lot of us, some of us, our attention spans start to go to the left and to the right, and they'll be like, why are we reading all of this stuff? Everything that we're reading is what Black Lives Matter advocates. That's the point. This is what they are about. Read.
Second, we can undermine the moral authority of homophobic churches.
Homophobic. That's that word again. Go ahead.
By portraying them as antiquated backwaters.
So they're saying you're old time, you're Old Testament, you're old fashioned. That was in the Old Testament. That's the same crap. Go ahead.
Badly out of step with the times.
See, you're not up to the latest times. Why don't you come in with the times? Man, boy, love. Come on with it. That's their whole thing. Go ahead.
And with the latest findings of psychology.
And then they find some of these psychology people to try to say that homosexual thoughts in your mind is not deviant. They did some research. That's how they changed the law. I'm talking about during the 70s. The BSU, the Behavioral Science Unit of the FBI, during that time, that's when they changed it. By psychologists. Go ahead.
All right, where we at? Against the mighty pull of institutional religion, one must set the mightier draw of science and public opinion.
That's the reason why the Bible says so-called oppositions. And read that. Read that. Let's get the scriptures in there. Let's read that. That's what they're talking about here. Timothy's.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20.
Yes.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust.
Keep that which is committed to thy trust, the Bible. This is what we as the Israelites have to do. We have to hold on to this Bible. Read.
Avoiding profane and vain babbling.
Profane means deviant. That's that word again. Avoiding profane. Profane means to be outside of God's normality. Go ahead.
And oppositions of science.
And what?
Oppositions of science.
So when they come up with these psychologists that try to say that term, that deviant spirit is no longer deviant, it's in opposition to God's word. But the scripture said, Timothy, hold on to the real gospel. That message is really to us. Hold on to this. Is that it?
And oppositions of science, falsely so called.
Falsely so called, because it's false. It's not to be taken as the truth. That's the point. So now let's go back to where we was at. Come on.
Against the mighty pull of institutional religion, one must set the mightier draw of science and public opinion. The shield and sword of that accursed secular humanism.
Go ahead.
Such an unholy alliance has worked well against churches before.
You see that? So they're saying that they have done this to break down churches. That's the reason why now a lot of churches are allowing the gays in, because they said we broke down their barriers. We broke down their religious discipline. Go ahead.
On subjects.
I'm showing you the deviance in their thinking on pushing the Sodom agenda. They went through all of this to get to where they're getting and to go further. Read.
On such topics as divorce and abortion.
So now, divorce is not in the Bible. You ain't supposed to be dealing with divorce. They have gotten to the point where now you got churches that accept that. Where in the Bible does it accept that? And abortion. Where in the Bible does it accept that? But because of the pressure that these people use to beat up on the church, and the church caved in.
So those were the two testing grounds.
Right. That's what. If they succeeded with two, we can get this other thing in there as well.
Right.
That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
With enough open talk about the prevalence and acceptability of homosexuality.
Right. With enough open talk about the prevalence and acceptability of homosexuality, that alliance can work here again. Here. So not only did we do it with abortions, we did it with this is what they're saying. We did it with divorce. We can also do it with NAMBLA. We can also do it with man boy love association and all that. This is some weird. This is some evil stuff. But we're gonna get a little deeper. Read on. Portray gays as victims, not as aggressive challenges. This is how they did it. That's where we're at now, right?
Yes, sir.
Part 2. Read.
In any campaign to win over the public.
In any campaign to win over the public, go ahead.
Gays must be cast as victims.
That's the reason why they say, you hate me. You're beating up on me. That's an act. They're following a script. Go ahead.
Gays must be cast as victims in need of protection.
They need protection. They need laws.
So that
they need rights to protect them from the evil people of normality, from the tight grip of hetero thinking. We got to protect you from those people, those out of times people, those old dated people, those Old Testament people. We have to pass laws to protect your precious little gay self. But they said what? They said portray gays as victims, not as aggressive challengers. Listen to what's being said in this paragraph. Read.
In any campaign to win over the public, gays must be cast as victims in need of protection so that straights will be inclined by reflex to assume the role of protector.
Do you see the evil behind this? You will be cultivated into assuming the role of protecting them. Go ahead.
If gays are presented instead as a strong and prideful tribe promoting a rigidly nonconformist and deviant lifestyle, they are more likely to be seen as a public menace that justifies resistance and oppression.
That's a heavy statement right there. In other words, if you was to really acknowledge them for the true wickedness that they're in, society would reject them. So we have to change the image of this filthy behavior.
And that's everything written in Romans. That's chapter 1.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly who changed the truth of God into a lie. That's the scriptures actually coming up. Read.
For that reason, we must forego the temptation to strut our gay pride publicly when it conflicts with the gay victim image.
You see that? With the gay victim image. Go ahead.
And we must walk the fine line between impressing straights with our great numbers, on the one hand, and sparking their hostile paranoia, they are all around us. On the other.
So in other words, they're going to try to amplify us and man, them gays are all over the place. And they will use that as a homophobic thing to further their agenda. Portraying them as victims. Read the next piece.
Let's go.
Yes.
Bring it up.
The media. A media campaign.
A media campaign to promote the gay victim image should make use of symbols which reduce the mainstream sense of threat, which lower its guard, and which enhances the public plausibility of victimization.
Go ahead.
In practical terms.
Now you're going to break it down. In practical terms, go ahead.
This means that jaunty
mustachioed musclemen would keep very low profile in gay commercials.
In other words, the aggressive people of their community, they don't want them in the forefront. That's what that's talking about there. Read that statement again. Let me read it. In practical terms, this means that the jaunty, mustachioed musclemen would keep a very low profile in gay commercials. They don't put them on TV. They don't want you to see that. They want you to see the soft ones, the ones that you can say are being hated, that need laws protected. You ain't going to really think about passing no laws for some big 350-pound, muscle-bound. This dude don't need no laws. He whoop the hell out of you. You understand? But if he's low, if he's little, he getting beat up on what they call gay bashing and violence. Mm-hmm. They use that as a platform, and they hide the violent ones.
Right.
That's what they're saying. This was well thought out. It was well thought out. Where we at? It says, this means that the jaunty, mustachioed musclemen would keep a very low profile in gay commercials and in other presentations, while sympathetic figures of nice young people, old people, and attractive women, lesbians, so you can understand, would be featured. This is the image that they want to put out, and these people are the ones that need laws passed, protected, and all of that. That's what they're saying. It almost goes without saying that groups on the farthest margin of acceptability, such as NAMBLA, North American Boy Love Association, must play no part at all in such a campaign. In other words, the campaign that they're talking about is the nice, petite, pretty, like what they're saying. Young, nice old people But if you got NAMBLA, you can't put NAMBLA in there because people say these people are pedophiles. In other words, the people are not ready to accept this yet. So we cannot put them on the bandwagon yet because we still have to work on poisoning their minds, which is what Black Lives Matter is doing.
Like on the train, they at the back of the cart. You know, you got the Black Lives Matter in the front of the cart, but all of that stuff, each cart is dealing with a different subject, but it's all built on homosexuality.
Exactly. So read that. It says it also goes without saying. Read that, Nashawn, so we can move on. We can get past.
Show me where we at.
It's in parentheses. It must.
Yes, sir. Okay. Note: North American Man-Boy Love Association must play no part at all.
And then you got to read above that. Well, I had read it early.
Okay. It almost goes without saying that groups on the farthest margin of acceptability.
The farthest margin of acceptability would mean the aggressives. That's what he's saying. The people who people will not accept. But we will accept the victims. Go ahead. Such as NAMBLA. Such as NAMBLA. North American
Boy Love Association must play no part at all in such a campaign. Suspected child molesters will never look like victims.
You see that? Because people ain't ready to accept that yet. So at the very top of that paragraph, it says a media campaign to promote the gay victim image is what they want to provoke. But you cannot mix NAMBLA up with that because they say these people ain't victims at all. These people are pedophiles. That's raping young boys. So the people, they're not going to accept that. So they said we cannot include NAMBLA right now. Right. Damn. Y'all got anything to say on that before we move on?
I'm just thinking about, when Bishop brought it out last week, and with the sister, and the sister was like, black folks, we ain't about that.
Right.
So
play that video. Get that video back up there. By the way,
they had to cast that Black Lives Matter like it was about us to get us invested in it, but ultimately, like Deke is bringing out, all of this stuff has to do with transsexual, all types of sexual going on. This has to do with that. It has nothing to do with the black man whatsoever or black lives.
Now, what people don't understand, you know what? Never drop. Don't worry, because we played that last week. Go to, because I'm a jump around now. Let's go right to the Bible. Romans 1:25. Let's go there. I'm gonna keep it 100 according to how I have it written. Now, we went through a lot of information. I hope you brothers and sisters was patient with us and you was able to follow us. We had a little bit of hard time struggling to get through this, but I hope you was able to follow along with us. Please, I hope that you was able to follow what we're saying. And there's more information, which is going to be a little bit easier to bring out. It's a little bit more organized in terms of how we're going to bring this out. But what made this kind of difficult was because we had to cross-reference several different documents showing you that they're all interconnected. Right. Okay, I went to like 4 or 5 different articles from different authors, different parts of the world and all that to show you that it's all connected. Okay?
Well, Deke, before you go in there, can I just write quick? Because I know we're going to roll on to the end. Can y'all put that picture up? Because I made a statement earlier about Michael Jackson's daughter. You got that just to show exactly. I'm not just making nothing up. You can see for yourself. Yeah, that one right there. There it is right there. It says Michael Jackson's daughter portrayed Jesus as a lesbian woman in a new controversial film. Wow. So that's why I wanted to make sure y'all see that when I brought that up. You know what I'm talking about.
That's evil as hell.
All right.
Let's read that Bible.
Romans.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Go ahead.
Verse 20.
That's the truth. The truth of God is the normal business in the Bible. It's the normality of the Bible. Go ahead.
Verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Let's start breaking down these words. The Most High says that this spirit is vile. This is not a normal demon that we're talking about. This is a vile spirit. When the Bible uses the term Sodom and Gomorrah, that unclean, what does it say in Revelation? Give me that real quick. I'm going to just show you. Because this is further on in the lesson, but I'm going to read this. Revelation chapter 18. I'm coming back to this in Romans to let you know about this vile spirit that it's talking about. Let me show you that this is not an ordinary demon that you're dealing with. Revelation 18 and 1.
Revelations chapter 18 and verse 1.
We're going to read 1 and 2.
Yes, sir. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven.
This is John on the island of Patmos. Come on.
Having great power. And the earth was lightened with his glory.
So the angel came to John. Go ahead.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
Hold it, and is become the habitation of devils. This is after the destruction. This is what the Most High is talking about here. This correlates with other scriptures, which we're going to touch on later. But there's a part that I wanted to get to in here. Babylon the Great, that's where we're at now in America. Read.
In the hold of every foul spirit.
Stop right there. And what is Babylon the Great? The what?
In the hold of every foul spirit.
Of every what?
Foul spirit.
A homosexual is foul. This place has the hold of foul spirits. Foul spirits. Go ahead.
In a cage of of every unclean and hateful bird.
That goes back into the scriptures where it talks about nothing's going to be left here but the owls and all those kind of strange after the bombs hit it. But the part before that, the foul spirit is the nasty spirits of that homosexual Sodom business. That's what it's talking about. Now let's go back to Romans.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Which is against nature, which is against the Bible. That's what we've been reading in all them documents. Their whole purpose is to be against nature. How in the world are you going to try to tell me that that's not deviant behavior? When you go outside of the main laws, you deviated from normal. And when you deviated from normal, biology don't work with you. 2 men cannot produce children. 2 women cannot produce children. But you're going to try to make it work anyway with your doggone science. Falsely so-called. That's deviant, foul, and vile. Who's saying this? The Most High. But this campaign says that what we're doing, we're talking homophobic. We're talking about hating people. We're reading the Bible. It's going to be a crime to read the Bible. That's what they're basically saying. The Black Lives, this is what I want to say. Black Lives Matter, SPLC, and the rest of these movements are going to turn against the Bible. They're trying to shut the Bible down. I hope you Israelites out there understand that. Their mission is to get rid of the Bible and to get rid of anyone that holds the Bible. They got to get rid of that. That's what we read. Go ahead, Romans.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another.
Burn in their lust one toward another. You got 2 men burning in lust to jump on each other. How in the world is that not a foul spirit? How in the world is that not vile? How in the world is that not filthy? How in the world is that not an abomination? How can that be? And that's the New Testament talking.
Deke saying you are oppressed because
you are oppressed because you can't do this.
And also, we read about it. When we read about the etymology of it, the word was the pedastry.
Yes.
It said it came from ancient Greece and ancient Rome.
That's it.
And what is Paul talking about? We're in the book of Romans. This is history.
Right.
Go ahead with it. You see that? Right. So that's exactly what we're witnessing. Because that's what the book of Rome, it was written to the Israelites that was in that filthy empire. Caligula and all that foolishness. That's what was going on then.
Right.
Read.
And likewise also the men.
And likewise also the men. Listen to what it's going to say about the men.
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
Leaving the what was the word? Heteronormative. Leaving the heterosexual relationship that it's supposed to be. Leave that alone. What did it say? And likewise what?
And likewise also the men.
Go ahead.
Leaving the natural use of the woman.
Go ahead.
Burned in their lusts one toward another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly.
Working that which is vile, which is unseemly, which is deviant, which is foul. Go ahead.
Indeed. Can I say this right quick?
Come on.
Every word you hitting is just right in the words of vile. Extremely unpleasant, foul, nasty, unpleasant, abominable, sickening, shameful, sin.
You ain't got to give them all of them.
But y'all hitting them. I'm just like, oh my God.
But the campaign that they're using is trying to turn all of that into Mary Poppins.
Right.
It's trying to turn that into something you're supposed to love. Give me now. I'm gonna jump on this because time is running, but we're about to end it. Go to Genesis. I'm gonna jump to Genesis for a reason. Give me Genesis. Give me the part about when those men came, because we were going to read through all of this. Like I said, we got to continue this next week. Give me the part in there, Genesis 19, right? Genesis 19. Find the part in there. I'm going to read through that real kind of quick. We ain't going to rush it. We just want to give it to you. To talk about the foul spirit. Talk about that vile spirit. I'm giving you the history of how it came up. Come on. You got it?
Genesis.
Tell them where you at.
Genesis chapter 19 and verse 1. And there came two angels to...
I want to get to... Okay. Well, you going to make it through all of this?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And there came two angels to Sodom at evening. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
The angels came to visit Lot. Come on.
And he said, Behold, now, my Lord, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night.
No, you're going to abide in the street? You sure you want to do that?
You see how Lot's telling you,
he
come
said,
in the house.
Because he knows where he's at.
Right.
Go ahead.
And he pressed upon them greatly.
I'm showing you the foul, wicked spirits that's in these, and our brothers and sisters, I'm showing you that spirit is not a regular spirit.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered into his house.
So he said, listen, I'm telling you, you need to get on up in here. Go ahead.
And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city...
The what?
The men of the city...
This is Nambla. All these Nambla people was around Lot's house. Go ahead.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young.
That's the ageism right there. All of them in agreement. All of them. I'm just letting you know that the same filthy spirit is here again today. They have to get rid of the Bible. Go ahead.
All the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us.
We want those men. Damn. Foul. Wicked. Vile. Go ahead. We want those men. Listen.
Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
That we will have sex with these men, the angels. Go ahead.
And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly.
So these were men. Do not so wickedly. Get that wicked start out of your mind. Repent. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Behold, now I have two daughters, which have not known man.
These were virgins. So in other words, when we was reading in Romans, it said, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burning their lust to lay down with the angels.
Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes.
Go ahead.
Only unto these men do nothing.
You men ain't supposed to be laying down with no daggone men, period. That's what Lot is saying. Read.
For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. Verse 9. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs to be a judge.
Come on.
Now will we deal worse with thee than with them.
In other words, we going to rape you. That's the sick thought that's in their mind. Move out of the way. Stand back. But we got to get that man butt. That's how they think. It's sickening. This is sickening, but that's how they think. And I hate to have to regress to that kind of language, but I'm trying to get you to, it's kind of hard
Open
to
their
put
mind
yourself,
up.
It's hard to try to get inside that thinking.
Right.
And you see, as a man of God, he had to push upon them. Like, hey, no, this you can't be doing that. Go ahead.
And they pressed sore upon the men, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
They were going to break the door. Read.
But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them.
The angels put forth their hand and grabbed Lot because, they getting ready to tear you up, Lot. Move.
And shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness.
So he smote these sodomites with blindness. Watch this.
Both small and great.
No ageism. That's the point. All of them together. Go ahead.
So that they wear.
Can you imagine that a young boy tell me he want to lay down with an angel? The old man, old dusty old man, he want to lay down with an angel. That same filthy spirit is what's going on now that you so-called black men are talking about some. Yeah, they're talking about Black Lives Matter. They don't give a damn about your lives. This is about a LGBT movement, Sodom movement. That's what it's about, and it's coming. All the same spirit that we're reading about is in these people today.
That's right.
That's a foul spirit. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said,
so they looking,
still trying to find the door.
Still trying to find the man.
That's crazy. In verse 12.
What the Lord is showing you is that the spirit that's in these people today, they're just that damn dangerous.
Right.
They're that doggone, they're trying to pass them off as victims. They're not victims. These people are just as aggressive as hell. See, I had some videos that I was going to bring up because y'all don't know about, like I talked about this group called ACT UP. ACT UP is basically the forerunner to Black Lives Matter. They was all about this LGBT thing. That's what their thing was. I got the videos to prove it. So that's coming up next week. We're about to run out of time. So I needed to read this history, get this history to show you that deviant behavior, and the Lord is going to bring fire and brimstone to this whole system about that wickedness. Read on.
Right. Verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place. For we will.
So that's the Lord saying that he's getting ready to bring fire and brimstone. Now jump down, because I'm going to go through this again next week. I just want to give me the book of Leviticus chapter 18. I'm going to show you about that foul spirit. I'm going to read a couple scriptures and we're going to close up. Leviticus 18 verse 22. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how deviant that particular spirit is. All sin is evil and wicked, but the Most High is putting special attention to that particular one. Watch this.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
Thou shalt not lie down with mankind as with womankind. So two men together is an abomination. The Lord doesn't say that about every other sin. He puts the appendage of abomination on certain sins, which makes it worse than others. Right. Not that any of them are good. But he's making the point that this particular sin is against nature.
Vile.
It's vile. It's foul. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind.
Read.
It is an abomination.
Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith.
Do you hear that? Neither shall you lie down with a beast. That's a deviant mindset. To lay down with a beast. Listen, this is the result of what happened here. Is showing you how deviant that spirit is. Read that 23rd verse again.
Verse 23. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith.
Go ahead.
Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion.
So when you lay down with the beast is confused. Meaning that the beast has to be put to death. The law said that you have to kill that beast because the mind, the spirit of that beast is messed up because you went against the nature of which that beast was made. The male horse want to be with a woman horse. Here go the woman, she going to jump on the damn horse and have sex with the horse. The Lord said that horse got to be put to death because the nature of his anatomy is all messed up now. Right. You laying down, you have to kill it to put it out of its misery because the spirit is messed up. That's how sick that behavior is. This is not hate talking, this is Bible. Right. So I guess because of that, you got to get rid of the Bible. But the Lord going to get rid of you. I'm going to just tell you flat out. The Most High going to bring the bombs just like he says in Isaiah 13. We're going to read that. He's going to bring fire and brimstone to destroy all of this wickedness. And I thank God for that daggone thing there. But you brothers and sisters that tied up in that Black Lives lesbian movement, because that's what it is. You better get your head out of that dirty doodle hole and learn this Bible. You better get your head out of that daggone thing. You know, I was working with some police officers back a few years ago. They used to tell me when they used to go to certain when they have to go to certain situations, And if they went into a house where that kind of
activity,
it said the smell is horrible.
Right.
I didn't even want to talk about it. I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm going to leave it at that. But that's how disgusting that thing is. Disgusting. Lord have mercy. One more scripture, Isaiah 1 and 9. Then we're going to close it up. Isaiah 1 and 9.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
You see that? Now give me Revelation 11 and 8. I'm going to close it with that one. We should have been as Sodom and Gomorrah if the Lord have not left the Bible and the men of the Bible. We should have been as Sodom. We will all be talking about NAMBLA and getting rid of ageism and man-boy lovers. We be all talking that foolishness.
Revelations chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and
the Israelites shall lie in the street of the great city, Babylon the Great. Go ahead.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Why is the Lord calling it a spiritual Sodom? Because America is not the actual Sodom that we was about to read about, that we were reading about in Genesis. Mm-hmm. This is a spiritual Sodom, and that's exactly why you have this movement going on now, to turn everybody into Sodomites. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
They crucified the real image of Jesus and giving you these kind of images like we were showing you here. You ain't even learning about Christ at all. Talking about they a Christian country, one nation under God. They hate the real Jesus. They hate the Bible, and they hate anybody that's for the Bible. That's where we living at. Okay? So with that, y'all want to bring up some things? We're going to close it out. And next week, we're going to finish this subject on the whole subject, and we're going to move on to something else. But I just wanted to give you some more information about how we got to where we are, and the solutions to how to get out of this mess is also coming up. Okay, It's also coming up. Go ahead, Captain.
Yeah, I just want to say, listen, we're not oblivious what's going on out here. Even the racism. We had a young boy that went into a restaurant with his mother, and the owner came at him and the mother because said it was the dress code. Right. Then there was a young Caucasian young man that was dressed the same way. Okay, so we pay attention to those things. Also, in down there, was it Wilmington, North Carolina? Yeah, in North Carolina, you had some police officers down there that got caught up in their language of speaking to each other about
calling us
Civil War, right?
Calling us nigga,
right? Ready to kill us, talking about killing us off. Can't wait.
But that'll get all kinds of news.
It will.
That'll get news, but,
right.
But being shot up over the weekend got nothing.
That's exactly right. But y'all just got to hear from the Bible, the book of our fathers. Okay, let's put that on the screen. All praises. So listen, don't neglect to give your alms. For those of you like to give alms, at your local assembly, please, okay, continue to give your alms to help us push this gospel through the four corners of the earth. Also, to give alms online, donate to IUIC Concord, okay, via PayPal at iuic.concord.nc@israelunite.org. Also, continue to donate to the Booster Club via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. As y'all can see, we're about this work. We're pushing this gospel to the four corners of the earth because y'all see the time is getting short. It's time to get our minds right and repent because Christ is coming. All right? So, Deke, back to you. We'll close it out.
Yes, sir. We're going to close it out. Brothers and sisters, I hope you've gotten a lot out of what we went over today. We went through a lot of cross-referencing in different documents and articles and stuff. I know it's somewhat a little different from how we would normally teach, but we had to go through these things to bring you up to speed with reality about what's really going on around us. A lot of our people are being duped by this Black Lives Matter facade, this falsehood, and a lot of our people are just falling for it. And we need to come to the realization that the Israelites matter. Okay, the Israelites matter. Not this queer thing matter. The Most High is not about that. Okay, so to next week we say shalom, stay strong, stay faithful, and most of all, like Bishop says, stay in the spirit. We're going to say shalom. Oh, also, I want to give credit to my engineer, my engineer all-stars that's behind the scenes, making sure that the work come through. Got Soldier Uriah on the camera. Also have Officer Kazdiel and Officer Yehoshua. These are the Second King brothers. Y'all know what it is, right? All right. Judas, the record Judas, King Kaz, and Lord Yehoshua. That's right. They're in the building. And also we have Brother Israel is on the 1s and 2s inside the booth. So with that, we're going to say shalom, happy Sabbath, stay faithful, stay strong, and stay in the spirit. This is Deacon Yahweh for the rest of the crew.
Shalom, Israel.
Captain.
Most High in Christ bless.
Hey, shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless.
Most High in Christ bless y'all. Happy Sabbath.